Last fall, I got a text that stopped me mid coffee. It was from a client that I had been working for months. We had toured 8 homes together, and she was close, really close, to making an offer on a place near downtown Goshen. Then her brother called and told her the market was about to crash. She texted me frantically, and her text read, "Lisa, honestly, is this actually a good time to buy a house in Goshen, Indiana, or am I about to make a huge mistake?" I want to answer that question today. Not with cheerleading, not with a sales pitch, with actual truth about what's happening in Goshen right now and a straight framework for whether buying makes sense for you specifically. Hi, I'm Lisa, real estate agent with Remax Results, located here in Goshen, Indiana. This is not a typical real estate video. I'm not going to tell you whether the market is amazing and that you should buy immediately. I'm also not going to scare you away. What I'm going to do is give you honest, local picture, the kind of information that I give clients who are actually sitting across from me. So let's get into it. What's actually happening right now? First, let's ditch the national noise. Half of what you read about housing market is talking about Phoenix, Miami, Austin. Goshen, Indiana is not in those places. Elkhart County behaves differently, and it has for years. Here is what I'm seeing on the ground. Inventory is tight, and it's been the story for several years, and that really hasn't changed dramatically. Well priced, move in ready homes in the 200,000s go under contract usually within the week, but sometimes faster. Here's the good news: the frenzied 15 over asking chaos of 2021 and 2022, it has calmed down. Buyers have some breathing room, but not a lot. Here is something that doesn't get nearly enough attention. Goshen market follows Elkhart County, and Elkhart County has one of the most stable employment bases in the entire state of Indiana. The economic backbone here is RV manufacturing. This region literally produces the majority of recreational vehicles sold in the United States and possibly nationwide. So, Elkhart County consistently posts one of the lowest unemployment rates in Indiana. This kind of stability is what keeps the housing market grounded and not wobbly. You can't fully understand whether to buy in Goshen without understanding that foundation. And this is what makes the market different. The interest rate question. The interest rate question and why it's only half of the story. Okay, rates. I know everybody wants to talk about interest rates, and I get it. They affect your monthly payment in a very real way. But here's what I've watched happen over and over: the rates drop slightly, demand surges, and inventory tightens. Prices go up. That buyer ends up paying more for the same house at a slightly better rate, while now competing against 5 other offers instead of 2. I had a client, a friend of mine, who spent 18 months convinced rates were about to drop significantly. By the time he bought, prices in his target neighborhood had increased enough that the savings he was waiting for were completely eaten up by the higher purchase price. He was frustrated, and honestly, I understood why. The smarter play: buy a payment you can generally afford today. If rates drop meaningfully in the next few years, and they may or may not, then you can refinance. You don't lose anything by buying now, but you can lose a lot by waiting indefinitely. That said, I want to be real clear about what this is. I will never tell someone to stretch beyond their means. If the payment doesn't fit comfortably right now in your budget, then we have to have a different conversation first. So, why Goshen? The honest answer: I live here. My kids live here. My husband Francisco and I serve our local community with the First Baptist Church. So, this is my own bias up front, but the objective stands on its own. Number one, the price to quality ratio is hard to beat. Median price homes in Goshen are significantly below national averages. That's not because it's a declining market. It's because northern Indiana hasn't been discovered the way the Sunbelt cities have. If you're coming from the Chicago suburbs, Indianapolis, or anywhere on either coast, the value here is almost disorientating. More square footage, a real yard, an actual neighborhood for less than you'd pay for a condo somewhere else. Number two, the community is real. I've watched client after client move here skeptically, taking a job at a manufacturer, not sure what to expect, and then call me 2 years later saying they can't imagine leaving. There's just something away about the way Goshen works as a community that doesn't fully translate until you're in it. Three, long term value is solid. Goshen's growth has been steady, not speculative. No enormous swings up or down. For buyers who want to build equity over 5 to 10 years, that kind of steady appreciation is actually preferable to a boom market. You're not gambling, you are building. So, should you buy right now? A straight answer. Buying makes sense if you're planning to stay in Goshen or Elkhart area for at least 5 to 7 years. Real estate is not a short term game. Two, you're currently renting and your rent has gone up or could go up. Buying locks in housing costs, renting does not. Three, your income is stable and the monthly payment, mortgage, taxes, and insurance doesn't require you to stretch uncomfortably. You have at least 3,000 in savings and your credit is in reasonable shape. You don't need perfect credit, but you do need to know where you stand. It might make sense to wait if your job situation is uncertain or you might relocate in the next year or two. Buying creates roots. Your credit needs some work. 6 months of focused credit improvement can lower your rate meaningfully. Sometimes that short rate is the right call. You haven't had an honest conversation about what you actually need versus what you think you want. I've watched people buy impressive house and end up miserable because the commute was brutal or the yard was too much to maintain. The client from the beginning of this video, the one who almost didn't buy because of her brother's advice, she bought. Not because I pushed her, because she worked through her own checklist, ignored the micro panic, and found a house 3 blocks from a park her dog absolutely loves. She texted me a photo. That kind of thing never gets old. So, what does buying in Goshen actually look like step by step? A lot of first time homebuyers spend weeks on Zillow and still feel totally lost about the actual process. So, here it is plainly. Step one, talk first, tour later. Before we even walk into a property, I want to understand what you're actually trying to accomplish. Timeline, budget, neighborhood priorities. Do you have pets, kids, a home with an office, aging parents? Those details shape everything. Step number two, get pre approved, not pre qualified. Pre qualification is basically a guess. A pre approval means a lender has reviewed your financials and committed to a number. In a competitive market like Goshen, sellers won't take your offer seriously without it. Step three, search, offer, and close. I set up customized alerts so you see a new listing the moment they hit, not 48 hours later after 3 showings I've already booked. When the right home appears, offer strategy matters. Price is only one piece, but how you structure contingencies and timelines can mean the difference between winning and losing. I walk with clients through every step from inspections to closing. Final thought. So, is it a good time to buy in Goshen, Indiana? For most buyers who are financially ready, planning to stay for a few years, and looking for a community that actually delivers on its promise, then yes, yes, it is. The Goshen market isn't going to collapse. It isn't going to suddenly become more affordable either. It will keep slowly appreciating because the fundamentals are solid. Stable employment, real community, growing population. Homes that are still accessible to normal, everyday people with normal incomes. Will the perfect moment arrive where the rates are low and the inventory is high and prices are soft and there's no competition? No, that moment doesn't really exist. It never has. The buyers I've seen do the best are the ones who get it clear on their own situation, stopped waiting for perfect conditions, and made a confident, informed move. If you're somewhere in that process of figuring it out, whether you're a few months from buying or ready to generally start right now, I'd love to have a conversation with you. No scripts, no pressure, just real talk about where you stand. Drop a comment below with your biggest question about buying in Goshen. Subscribe if this was useful. I put on local, honest content every week. And if you're ready to actually start the process, my contact information is right below this video. Hi, I'm Lisa. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.